Yeah, we got NXT. T meaning terrific. Why not say it? Because we only got a few days away from Judgment Day and we actually have a very good show here. I'm not agreeing with absolutely everything here. I want to make that clear. There are things I don't agree with because it feels like if it doesn't happen, it feels like it was just a waste of time. But we still need to know. Now, let's open with the Dusty Classic. We got Trick and Mello versus Joaquin Wilde and El Toro of LWO. They were just there for bodies. I kind of wish they had not been there for bodies. Let's make this clear. LWO, they're well known, they're cared about. But here, I think you should have used just regular NXT wrestlers. Not someone from the main roster, not from SmackDown, which they really don't look very good in SmackDown. I'm telling you right now, the way it looks on SmackDown, it's not good. It's not. Look at you already know what happened. Mello and Trick won. I don't even need to explain it. They were going to win, and they won. But I wish it had been with wrestlers who were part of the breakout tournament. It would have been better that way. You would have shown some new guys or people who have not been seen much on their roster, finally get some more time. But here was a mistake. Because let me give it to you like this. Sorry, my nose is itchy. When you look at LWO and I botch when I get frustrated. Legado El Fantasma's Santos Escobar's team, you literally are trying to make a story there. But you don't go through with it. You don't do it right with Carlito, counting if he was injured or not, or probably was just sitting in the back not doing anything, because even though everyone says it's better with Triple H, there's still going to be bodies sitting in catering, waiting for their moment. I'm sorry. It happens still. No matter what JD and Alex say, there's still going to be people in the back waiting. And in this situation, I didn't see any information. Unless there was something wrong with Carlito. I didn't see anything. I looked. As far as I could see, there was nothing wrong with Carlito. Nothing. Nothing wrong with Caribbean Cool. Nothing. Why was he not used? There's no Ray. You didn't bring in Dragon Lee into LWO when they should have. And now you got Legado del Fantasma back again. Santos Escobar's music is back. He's now using Carrillo and Angel Garza. And then you have the sighting of Elektra Lopez, who I'll get to in a minute with her match, which I'm questioning. And you do this. I'm sorry. Yes, people are going to say, well, it's a Dusty Classic. They need people. Dude, if you really wanted to make the Dusty Classic mean something, you bring new people in, not current ones on the roster. You're bringing new people that's in the Performance Center to show themselves. Instead of having, 8 teams, you could add 10 teams. You could add 12 teams. You could have. And they didn't. And if it was either Triple H who made the decision, or if it was HBK, I don't agree with it. You should have used main NXT talent, not main roster talent. But as we know, they're trying to sell NXT to whatever network that's next. This is what you get. Next, we get Tatum Paxley versus Roxanne Perez, because of what happened last week when Tatum basically nails a Roxanne Perez while she was doing the contract signing, which honestly didn't go very well for me personally. Like I said last week, you got Lara Valkyria, who isn't really a great talker, dealing with a Roxanne Perez, who's not really a great talker. They're both okay. They're kind of middle of the road, and they're better off when they have someone else that is a better talker working with them. And when it came to Lyra and to Roxanne, they're both not very good showing emotion when they're doing those types of segments. They're just not. They don't show good emotion. Now, when we saw Lyra Valkyria talking to Tatum, I should just call her Tatum instead of just Paxley. Tatum, the horny, crazy woman who's in love with Lyra, who said it literally at the end of that section saying, I love you. That's when you see a Lyra Valkyria show emotion, and it's understandable emotion that she's trying to tell Tatum to stop trying to talk to her, stop acting like this, stop it. I would take Tatum, but to be honest, I'm a glutton for punishment because I have been through a crazy woman in my life. Actually, I've been through two. Look, what you see in front of you is what you get. You see this. I am a decently good guy who doesn't cause no trouble. I'm nice. And I usually draw the most craziest people to me. I don't know why. I give off a weird thing. Just weird. And I draw very weird women. But this is where you see Lyra really show emotion, show she's animated, shows she can talk. Because this is more spontaneous than it is scripted. Because she did do scripted. It was scripted with her and Roxanne. It just felt it. Here it was more, yeah, we give you a script, but ad-lib a little bit. Have a little fun with it. I think that's how HBK works more often than not. And you could see it. So when you see the match afterward, when you see her, when she's sitting on commentary and she's talking with Vic Joseph, who's not going to SmackDown, I think it's actually going to be, I'm saying this now, because one SmackDown happens, and if I'm right that pretty much Wade Barrett and Corey Graves are working, I don't know if that's going to work. They're both more like color commentators. You're going to make one of them a straight man and the other one a color commentator. That means Stu Barrett, who's Wade Barrett, will have to become a color. I don't know how that's going to work. You see I'm botching. I don't know how that's going to work. But we still got Vic Joseph and Booker T. And Lyra is talking between them. And she may not be one of the best talkers, but at least she is spontaneous enough that you can understand her, get a point of view, and get all that. And the match ends with pop rocks. Ends. But then once it's over, you see that Roxanne's staring, a little bit of a hole going like this. A little hole right through the love of her life. You see Tatum get up again trying to attack her, and then you see that Roxanne tries to beat her down again, and then you see a little bit of Lyra goes into the ring, tries to stop it, and they just do a stare down, and you hear Tatum say, I love you. With the music blaring, but we can tell from what she said, we can hear her saying, I love you. Look, is it a bad storyline? No. We got Lyra dealing with Roxanne Perez, who feels like since she's already been a prodigy for so long, she wants to get her damn title back, and Lyra's going to make sure she doesn't, but now Lyra has a little bit of a noose around her neck, namely Tatum Paxley, who wants to basically do every dirty thing in the world with her. Let's make it clear. You got pretty much a repeat of what happened years ago, like I said. You got the crazy Mickie James dealing with the Trish Stratus. That's what you see. The only difference is, and I'm not knocking either one of these women, Tatum Paxley is almost as good looking as Trish Stratus. And Mickie James, I'm sorry, Lyra Valkyria is not as beautiful as Mickie James. She just isn't. And the most you can say with Roxanne Perez is that she is Victoria. And that's what we get. So let's move on. This match, I don't understand why it happened. But if it is what it's supposed to be, I fully understand it. You got Lola Vice versus I still love Elektra Lopez's intro music. And I have not been able to find it without the audio of the match or when the commentators talk. I want to find that music and I can't find it. Maybe it's on YouTube, but I haven't found it yet. Part of the YouTube library. Maybe it's that. That's the reason why there's just no remix or anything of it, because the older music sucked. But anyway, we get this match, and let's make it clear. I know that she is the Breakout Tournament champion. She has a contract, and she can go up against either Lyra or Miss Pop Rocks herself, a Roxanne Perez. But the thing here is, what happens to Elektra Lopez? What now? To be honest, this is what it comes down to. Because If Lola wins that match and we still see a huge amount of Elektra Lopez on NXT, then this was a wasted opportunity. I'm being honest here. It was a stupid opportunity wasted. It was. It was. If she doesn't go to Legado del Fantasma on SmackDown more often than she goes on NXT, then this was a stupid thing and she needed a feud. Now, I know Elektra Lopez ain't great. She's not. But she is the person that she's made a story with. And if she doesn't go to the main roster, Elektra Lopez, and spend more time with Santos Escobar, with Carrillo and Angel, if she doesn't do that, then whoever wrote this was dumb. I don't care who it was. Lola needs feud. She needs one. Because I don't think they're going to just let her have that title match yet. Even after... I'll give it to you like this. If it happens 1 or 2 weeks after Vengeance Day, I'm about to say Judgment Day. See, I'm thinking about what is Mommy going to be doing anyway? If Bayley does not go with Rhea Ripley, what is she going to be doing? Who? What? Charlotte? She's still out. She's still got an ACL. Unless you're going to give her someone interesting other than Nia Jax. I mean, I will tell you this. When it came to the Rumble, Nia has done okay. Like I said, Nia has done okay as long as she doesn't injure anyone. That's been her major problem. So Nia's been all right. But knowing that Nia... What was that? Oh, just that. Nia being the one that's going to go up against Rhea Ripley, if it's not Bayley, I don't think that's going to work. But that's just me. Even though they have been building it well, I just don't know. But basically, if Elektra does not... I kind of went off the track a little bit. If Elektra does not, and I repeat, does not stay on the main roster more than she does in NXT, what was the point of this? What was the point? It actually hurts her on NXT. I'm just saying. Next, we got King versus Holland. The only reason this happened was because King was trying to kiss ass with Ava Raine. And let me say this. And I know that you should say something more about Rich Holland because he wants to go up against Gallus, but this is not about him. This is not even about King. This is about trying to make Ava be legitimate. That's what this is about. This is not about King, because King is going to eventually get where he needs to go. And Rich Holland will need more time to develop into what he's being developed into, if he's being developed as well as I believe he will. This is about Ava being considered a general manager. And the problem we got, and I will get to what happened with Gacy and Dijak in a moment, which adds to this. But when you see Ava, tell me, I want to know below, what do you see when you see with Ava? Do you see a legitimate general manager? Do you? Because AJ Lee was a general manager. Yes, she was. And it wasn't just that she didn't always dress sexy or dress like professional. She needs to have something extra, one extra bit. And at this moment, when you look at Ava compared to AJ Lee, you don't got it. Now, mind you, when it came to AJ Lee, it took time. She eventually transitioned from wearing skimpy clothes or just sweats or whatever to being more professional. The question's going to be, when this happens to Ava, which I do believe it will happen unless they're trying to be more the millennial thing and saying, well, she don't need to be dressed like one of those old boomers. Because that's what it comes down to. I'm considered a boomer because I was born in '71. I'm considered a boomer. But as it stands, Ava still doesn't feel like she's legitimate. She feels like an errand girl. Now, they got to get her away from that feeling. Because as long as she looks the way she does, and I'm not just talking about her clothes, it's just her persona, I will see her as nothing than an errand girl for HBK, not a general manager. She doesn't have it. If she doesn't go away from that, changing her attire can help. But she better, and I mean she better figure something out. Because as it stands right now, this is only the second week, I don't feel it. I'm hoping if she changes her clothes, because she just still seems like Ava. Nothing different. Let's move on. All right. Let's get to Gacy and to Dijak, which was also added into this because now we know they're going to have a match at... Here's the problem I see with Gacy and Dijak in their feud. And now they're going to have a no DQ match at Vengeance Day. I don't know why it got started. I don't know why it got started. Just because he looked at them at the commentary table and then the fight started. Look, Gacy's considered nuts. And the segment they show with him and Dijak is basically telling him, I'm surprised you're here because I thought you'd still be picking out splinters from your ass. And he says, yeah, thank you for caring. But I'm never going to leave you alone. And even with that recording, there's something missing. For me personally, there's something missing from this feud. I don't know what it is that is needed to make it feel important. Yes, they're beating the crap out of each other. Yes, we saw Gacy get thrown into a dumpster. Yes, he did. Got thrown into a dumpster that probably got some really good mats in there. But you get my point. He gets thrown into a dumpster. And the key of this is what is missing from this feud to make them feel important. Yes, they're beating the crap out of each other. But beating the crap out of each other is not always enough. Look, when it came to AEW, when it came to Swerve and to Hangman, it was about Swerve taking Hangman's spot. That's what that was about. Swerve needed the position that Hangman is in to really put him up in the card. Because before that, it was not working. I don't care what anybody says. Even after destroying a Keith Lee, it didn't help. He needed Hangman to push him that further. What do we got here? We got guys who, yes, you got Dijak who's been positioned better than Gacy at this point because they had to tear Gacy down once Schism was dissolved. But you still got Dijak and Gacy, and Dijak is not a Trick Williams. He's not a Dragunov. He just isn't. And there's something missing. I'm just saying. You guys tell me below. Next, Fallon Henley versus Ariana Grace. Miss NXT. You know, I couldn't remember that she was Miss NXT. I couldn't remember her name was Ariana Grace. And since they've been trying to push her as a pageant queen, I've been able to at least get used to her. I can't tell you that it's working great, but seeing that she's trying to be a pageant queen, she's trying to be preppy, she's trying to be presentable, and she's trying to think she's above everybody, and Fallon doesn't like it again because it's basically a repeat of what happened with Tiffany Stratton, because that's what we got here. Fallon Henley is repeating what happened with Tiffany, but now with Ariana Grace. Now, is this meant to help Ariana Grace? I do believe so. And the match itself was okay. But I'm going to be honest here. Who is the better wrestler? Ariana Grace. Fallon Henley. Fallon. But who seems to have more character? That's what we got. And the problem is, she needed someone to bring her up who is here in character, not just in capable wrestling. So, next to Sinclair being there, and Ray Sinclair being there, and due to the fact that's how they got it started, because Ray is trying to understand how to fit in, due to the fact she's now in the roster now. And she doesn't know who to listen to. Does she listen to Ariana Grace? Does she listen to Fallon Henley? Fallon Henley beating the crap out of Ariana, smacking the hell out of her, hitting that face. That's a pretty good looking face. I mean, she is. But what are we getting here? That's another question. Particularly once you see Miss Jackson and Lash Legend basically come in, mess up the match because of what happened with Sinclair and Fallon messing with them. I can't tell you it's good, but I can't tell you it's bad either. I just don't know if this is going to get anywhere. I'm just saying. We only have one more match, and then we have the segment that means the most. Well, two segments. let me give it to you like this. Did the Heritage Cup work? No. Did I believe that Von Wagner was going to win? After the first 30 seconds? No. I didn't feel it because I don't know what it was. Even with Mr. Stone's kids there, Mrs. Stone by his side, and seeing Metaphor there was something missing. Was it because Von Wagner was just kind of not sure exactly what he was supposed to do here in this match? He started untaping his hand partially and then started hammering on Nolan Dar in that first round. And I would have thought the way he was acting, he just wanted to just break his face. And instead of taking off the entire thing, and he realized he wrapped it too much, and he could not take it all off in time because the time was running out, it felt really janky. It was like he wanted to really hurt a Nolan Dar, and the way they treated him, the way that Nolan Dar was being treated during the intermediate, in between matches, first to the second, was fine. That was fine. But it was like Von Wagner was not sure what exactly the right way to do this type of match. Legitimately. Not just in story, but legitimately. He wanted to be unwrapping his hand and trying to extend it a little bit. But instead of being really rough and tough, he didn't. Not until after he lost the match did he finally just table Mensa instead of tabling Nolan Dar. So they protected Nolan Dar again. And Mensa's the one who took the hit there. So I'm not going to tell you it was bad, but it wasn't good. It just felt like Von Wagner was missing something. I think this was not the right type of match. Even though he got the right reaction from the crowd gave him the correct reaction. He's a face. People like him as a face. He's working as a face, but this match was not right for him. Two more. Two more. I know I could talk about Jensen, but I'm not going to. I want to see what they're going to do with him because he's acting like a lost puppy. Leaving that. Chase U. Got to do it. And you can see the title. Sex Sells for Chase U. I think that's the title. Look, I know the most important thing will be the end. That's what many people are going to cover. But this is where they got to go. And this is where I've talked about, guys. Stereotypes still work in wrestling. No matter how much people don't want to hear it. Stereotypes still work in wrestling. Either you got the funny black kid or man or woman, not kid, but man or woman, dancing around and acting stupid. Or the totally serious, want to act ghetto black person. Or white trash white person. Or like preppy or think they're above people white person. Or Spanish, either don't want to act Spanish or thick ass Spanish and doesn't want to even speak English. There's always going to be what we know, stereotypes. It's a part of the arsenal of what pro wrestling gives people. And when you see this, when Chase U is done, Andre Chase is saying, I'm sorry, but this is the last time I'm going to be talking. Chase U is dissolved. He didn't say it like that. I'm just saying it. And it's Duke that says, he did say, I forced. No, I encouraged, but forced the other students to make a montage of what we've gone through in Chase U, which was special. When it was all said and done, JC Jane comes out with Thea and basically says she found a way to save everything, and she did exactly what I said. Like I said, stereotypes are still in wrestling. Whether y'all like it or not, it's there, and we're getting the Chase U 2024 calendar of all the women that were in Chase U, all dressed scantily in bikinis or in whatever else, and is going to not only make money that pays off the debt, but make money for the future decades. And everyone is happy, at least until we get a Alexis King and a Riley Osborne. That was afterward. And you see Thea finally admitting that she likes, and then says maybe likes, a little bit of Riley. That's what we got. Sex sells, guys. Sex, no matter how much people doesn't want to hear it, no matter how much the current generation from the 2000s on doesn't want to hear it. Freaking fucking sex sells. No matter if you're a man, no matter if you're a woman, or no matter what, everything else, man, woman, and everything in between, because at this point there's a what? Man, woman, gay, lesbian, binary, pansexual, there's supposed to be, I forgot, there's at least 7 of them, 6 or 7 or more of the criteria between man and woman. It always sells. It don't matter. Let's move on. Final segment, Trick and Dragunov. Still trying to sell that trick. Still trying to sell that bit about who is the one screwing with the head of a Trick Williams. Is it Carmelo Hayes or is it Dragunov? And Dragunov is not one of the greatest talkers because Trick rolls around Dragunov. He is like this. And Dragunov is like this. But Trick is like this. That's just how Trick is. He's a good hype man. He's a great talker. He does stumble from time to time. He just does. He's still new in the business. He still stumbles. But he's like this. Dragunov is like this. And doesn't mean Dragunov can't get it done. It's just he's not as flamboyant as Trick Williams. And you can hear Dragunov just saying simply, look, I love it seeing you the way you are. That look in your eyes, I love it. You are what I was hoping for. You earned your right to come at this title and come at me. And Trick did again, saying, you're trying to screw with me. Look what you're doing this at Vengeance Day. I got to do double work. And he says, look, it's not my fault that you have become so successful. Well, technically it is his fault because he wanted to give Trick that because he actually liked him. This is the thing. Trick Williams and Dragunov. Dragunov could always see that Trick was something, but always behind Melo. This is Melo, this is Trick. And he always knew that seeing Trick by himself, that he could get it done by himself. And he proved it. Let's be honest here. Months upon months ago, when they finally decided to pull the trigger on Trick Williams, which I said that eventually had to, because Trick had it, but he needed to go away from Carmelo. I said this, I don't know about anybody else, before anyone else. I probably am not, but maybe I am. But I'm telling you now, Trick earned everything he's got now by himself. What that trick has worked. Hell, they even used it in Impact Wrestling when it came to Naomi. Now Naomi instead of Trinity. And pretty much Mickie James, as I said, whooped that trick. It was beautiful. Not just because you had a moment with Trinity and I really wish she was still in TNA. I'm sorry. I don't feel safe for Trinity. I'm sorry. I'm saying this now. I know I'm dragging this. I don't feel safe for Trinity because it's still unstable in WWE. I'm just saying. But Trick's catchphrase got so over was used in another promotion. That shows how far he's gotten. And seeing that this is done so well, it's great to see. And they're still trying to see who is screwing with who. Now, when it was all said and done and when Dragunov hugged him, you got the Wolf Dogs attacking. I know I'm skipping over Corbin and Braun Breaker. I'm going to leave it until when they have their match. And that's on Sunday. I'm not going to talk about it other than they were there, they fought, and you see Trick, Melo, and Dragunov in the ring, Trick and Dragunov staring at each other, and Melo giving off a look like, I want to kill somebody. We still don't know. But I do believe this is it. If it's not now, it's going to be Stand and Deliver. Either now at I'm about to say Judgment Day, Vengeance Day, or at Stand and Deliver, we're going to find out if Trick is going to be betrayed by Melo. Just me. Peace.